WD18, welcome back to another instant match reaction live here from Noosa on the east coast of Australia. And early this morning, 6 a.m., managed to catch Watford 1, Oxford United 0. Another home win for Tom Cleverley's Watford. He still hasn't lost a game at home, unbelievably, as the Watford manager as well. I think that's something like 13 games undefeated at Vicarage Road in all competitions, 11 in the league. Phenomenal, unbelievable. And yesterday, this morning, sorry for me, um, I think potentially Watford did get a little bit lucky in some ways. We missed a lot of opportunities at 1-0 to really kill the game off. And when that happened and Oxford started piling on the pressure with 5-10 minutes to go, I was sort of thinking we've all seen this script with Watford before, but luckily we were able to hold on. Oxford didn't really take their opportunities, and yeah, you earn your luck, I think, at this level, particularly in your home games like we are at the moment. And yeah, I think we were definitely worth our value for the 3 points. We saw a couple of changes today, as I thought would happen. Ryan Andrews came back in on the right hand side. Bio kept his place up top as well. Kadro Bar played alongside him. You had Georgie Chatfatazzi, who I'll come on to in a bit. Absolutely phenomenal. But I think probably the headline two were James Morris at the back and Imran Loser in the middle of the park, both of which I thought were absolutely excellent. I'll start off with Imran Loser because he's someone who I'm the first person to say it. I am not his biggest fan, to be honest with you. And I think, if anything, that performance for me even adds to my frustration in some ways, because I think we know his level, we know what he is capable of, as he showed, in particularly in the second half yesterday. I thought just we really need to see that consistency from him, because he was arguably one of the best players on the pitch yesterday. He was able to dictate play. I thought he was getting stuck in, played a lovely ball through to Festi Abasele at the start of the second half, which he wasn't able to control. But yeah, the frustration is with Imran Loser. Can he now follow that up if he keeps his place in the team and do it for the next 2, 3, 4 games in a row? And that's where the big question mark is with him. But yeah, really, really happy with his performance. James Morris, I'd go as far as saying I thought that was his best performance in a Watford shirt. I thought he was absolutely excellent. Some absolute big headers at the back post. I think there was one towards the end where I think their striker, I think he's called Harris, was able to get a head on it. But Morris knew he wasn't going to beat him to the header, so I think he just made that run as difficult as possible and almost tried to, stand his ground, and that made it really, really difficult for Harris to win that header. Um, and go on to score it. So yeah, I thought both of those were brilliant. And then other standouts, I thought for me, Matty Pollock again. Signing that new contract. He's a player who, we've spoken about it so many times this season, because he just grows in confidence game by game. But he is a future captain of Watford Football Club. Tom Cleverley said that in his statement when he did sign that new contract as well. Yeah, just quality, isn't he? Just gets his head on absolutely everything. He's been through the wars this season. Hurt his knee during the first half, and I was thinking, oh God, here we go. But I think that's what now his knee, his shoulder, his head that he's done damage to. And absolute warrior, always getting stuck in. Can tell he genuinely cares about Watford as well, which always goes a long way. So yeah, he was solid. I thought Ryan Porteous had a good game, other than a couple of shaky moments. I thought he looked really, really strong, and he's growing in confidence. I know he had to shake off what was a really difficult summer for him with Scotland, but he did really well. And obviously Vacuum Bio as well, getting in on the goals. That's 5 goals this week, having not scored since August, and he's growing in confidence. You can tell he really, really wants the ball. Again, it's not a Vacuum Bio performance without him missing opportunities, and he probably, with his goal, he should have scored the first attempt, and then he should have scored later on in the second half to wrap up the 3 points, but he didn't. But yeah, really, really happy for Bio, who continues to score. But I think the standout for me has to be Georgie Chatfatazzi. I think he's one of those where, I know numbers in football are important, but I don't think his goals and assists this season necessarily reflect how good, for example, he was yesterday. My frustration with Georgie, and this is where the numbers come into it, is that he isn't scoring enough goals. For example, he's only scored 1 this season. That was the first day of that amazing free kick against Millwall. I'm not sure how many assists he's on, but we do need to see more output from Georgie Chatfatazzi. But he was just absolutely phenomenal yesterday, wasn't he? I think in that second half, we really needed a player, because it took us some time to go into the game. We needed a player to really take the game by the scruff of the neck and take the game to Oxford, and he did that so well, so dangerous every time he had the ball. No one was getting near him, and he was just a player on absolute top quality, just top quality form yesterday. Just magic, isn't he? And I go as far as saying, and I saw a few people say this, a name we haven't heard too much this season is Yasser Asprilla. We haven't really missed him, in my opinion, at least. I know he's a fantastic player, but because of how well he's doing, how well Quadro Bar's doing, amazing assist from Bar as well, we haven't really felt that impact of Asprilla leaving. Unlike when Pedro left, I think we did feel that a lot more because of the quality of João Pedro. But I think all that credit has to go down to the forward players who have just been so exciting to watch. So yeah, Chaptatsu is brilliant, and I just hope we can keep hold of him in January because I think the fear is, the Sky cameras were on and there would have been teams watching him. The report came out this week. I can't remember who it was from, but Wolves are supposedly watching him, to eyeing him up to bringing him in January. And I think it'll be a big deal for us to keep him in January. And then, you can imagine that he'll move on in the summer. I know he signed that contract, but we've seen that before with Watford players where it's up their sale value, so to speak. So yeah, 6 points this week from Watford after, despite that disappointing result in the middle against Swansea, and that leads us, well, before the rest of the games have been played at least, we're now fourth in the Championship, with the joint best home record in the league, if not the best home record in the league. And while I'm delighted with it, and I think Tom Cleverley will feel the same, I can't help but again feel just a tinge of frustration, a bit like I said with that Imran loser situation, is just why can't we do this away from home? And I get how I think Vicarage Road this season, I think the atmosphere is back, I think that the fans are right behind the team, but it's not just like small differences. I know that Sheffield Wednesday game is a bit of an anomaly this season, but we are literally seeing just a completely different Watford side away from home versus the team we see at home. And I feel like the team we're seeing at home is the one that Tom Cleverley's moulded this Watford team into, which is tough to beat, resilient, strong, powerful. And away from home, it's very much what we've seen over the last few years. And we almost resort and go back into our shells when we're a bit under the cosh and go back into those old habits, which is why I think, we've got to give Tom Cleverley time, because it's not a quick fix. So many people wrote Watford off at the start of this season and, use this season to, really continue that home form and then hopefully build on the away form as the season goes on. And then, if nothing comes of this season, then hopefully we'll be in a good place to attack it next season, keep hold of the likes of our really attacking players. But yeah, we're massively outperforming where I thought we'd be, going into the November international break. And then after this, we got it's the Christmas period, isn't it? And that's always one of the toughest periods of the Championship season. We start off with that Plymouth away game. No Tom Cleverley on the touchline. He picked up his third yellow card of the season, which for me, I know it's a bit frustrating having missing him out, missing out the Plymouth game. I think Epicelli's also out of it, but I do quite like having a manager that passionate on the sidelines. Feels like it's been a while since we've had a manager who genuinely cares, like Tom Cleverley. And yeah, the job he's doing is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, onwards to after the international break. I'm buzzing for it. Hopefully we continue this form up and really cement our place in the playoff places. We're definitely outperforming where I thought we'd be this season. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe to WD18. The lads filmed a post-match pint after the game, I believe, which should be out soon. It might be out already, so make sure to check it out on the channel if it is. And I'll see you all soon. Up the Hornets, not Tom Cleverley's Yellows. You want?